You know what I'm saying? I
Brother
did go like,
Shaka,
oh, yeah.
let me say this before I go. You are
Yeah.
one of the most dangerous brothers in our community. Why? Because he has been listening for a long time. And when you say something, he's going to say, wait, but you said this on this day. Here's the video.
And he's going to have the
He is one of the
documentation.
most dangerous brothers in our community. And so I'm excited that you're here. I'm excited that Soneta's audience now knows about you. He was talking to me about Shaka, 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 Shaka. I thought he was talking about Shaka almost for a second. Because Soneta love him some Shaka Ma'at forever. So I'm just honored that now we have a more global. I know Rob Moore was kind of making a joke, but he was also making a comment. The reality is that this internet is going to allow Africans all over the world to connect on our interest, and that is powerful. That is powerful.
Yes.
I'm honored to be on. I promise I will communicate with you. I'm watching your shows ardently, Shaka. So whenever you would like me to come and chat with you privately or publicly, please let me know.
Yeah.
Okay?
Hotep Senu Hela Senut Tir and Isha Kanugu Kemet. I hope you're doing well. The title of this live stream is Zero Mention of Moses during his lifetime. When did he leave? Who was the Pharaoh of the Exodus? Let me check the sound quality. Sounds good on my end. Let me get the fair use disclaimer out of the way just in case. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research. Donnie Williams is in the place to be. V. Bennett is in the place to be. If anybody want to get on the panel, feel free. Now, depending on the participation, this live stream may be short because on TikTok there is somebody that I could say interviewed me not long ago, but he's a French speaker, and he was live on TikTok and recorded a little bit. I wanted to speak to him directly, but he had to, do something. So he was still streaming, but he had to do something, basically doing a prayer. So he used to be Kemetic, and then he went back to Islam because he grew up in an Islamic family, and he criticized African traditions. So I'm going to go live in French after a while, depending, if people want to, deal with the Moses mention, feel free. But otherwise, shortly, if there's no participation here, then I will start the live stream in French. Okay. So he really criticized the African tradition, and I'm quite surprised of the things he said. But it's on tape, it's documented. So I will send him a message to let him know, that I'm responding to what he said. But once again, I asked to be up on his panel on TikTok, and people will be able to see me. I was there, but he had to, like I said, go to do the prayer or whatever. So I will send him a message to let him know that I'm responding to him. So the last time we had Elder Yara, who claimed that there was a historical mention of Moses. Sister Andrea Burnett, how you doing, sister? So he claimed that there was a historical mention of Moses, but he was unable to show us where Moses was written, right? So far, zero mention of Moses. Fine. When did he leave? What would be the time period for Moses' existence? And who was the Pharaoh of the Exodus? Feel free. Now, what was access? Okay. Oh, that is good. So if I share this, oh, the screen is already sharing, is it? Then that's lovely. So this means I can, it's great. I do this, yeah, it is showing. That's great. I'll be able to go on full screen. Okay, great. Now, raising awareness is in the place to be. He wrote, no one in Kemet was just named Moses, and the Hebrew pseudolites get mad as hell. It's probably a typo. It says Gael, but probably meant to type hell. When I tell them that, well, Hebrew is the first time I hear that. But let's try to be diplomatic because it's a shame many people will not be able to understand the next live stream. There's many people who have criticized Islam. Many people have criticized Islam. So the dude was very, very angry. I never seen him that angry, and I knew him for a long time. I didn't know him like that, that close and all that. But anyway, um, it may not help, but people are free to express themselves however they want, because non-Abrahamic people, we are a minority, and we need to, pay that in mind. Doesn't mean that we have to, bow down and, butt kiss. But anyway, so when I say Moses, of course, that's the way we call it in English, So I'm not, because indeed Elder Yara at one point, was kind of doing some linguistic gymnastics. So in Hebrew, it will be Moshe, and then if people claim that his name was an Egyptian name, then they are free to tell us what it was. We just want to know the mention historically. You see. Now, secular humanists wrote Moses was a ghost writer. He's the only person to write about his death and continue to write after his death. But they have excuses, But indeed, in the Bible, hold on. So in the Bible, indeed, there's a mention of Moses' death, and that's the Old Testament. Some people like to be picky, and most Abrahamic people will say that the Old Testament or Torah or Tanakh was written by Moses. How could he describe his own death and say where he was buried? Raising Awareness wrote, the Hebrews be on some anti-black Afro-American BS. Well, not all, but some, yes, and like we have seen very recently, there is a Hebrew Israelite who is from the Congo, and he doesn't like Africans because of his religion. But then he's trying to, give a rationale about, oh yeah, but we have this and this trouble and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? And I gave a genealogy, an analogy, right? You have, people who are fighting because of their gangs or maybe other reasons, right? So who's gonna say, oh, black people don't like each other, they kill each other because of the fighting that we have between different gangs? You know what I'm saying? We see what's happening, in Ukraine, the fight between Russia and Ukraine. Who's saying, oh, Europeans hate each other. They just fighting all the time. They had wars before, but when it's Africa and there's a problem in Africa, and people act like, okay, like they do some extrapolation. But for a strange reason, the slavery, the historical slavery, not the fictional tale of the Exodus narrative, right? It doesn't mind. It doesn't matter to them. They don't mind. They have no problem with that. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes they will blame Africans because of slavery, the transatlantic slave trade, as if it was Africans that were in charge of it, that were running it, that were calling the shots. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, so feel free. Uh,
Et vous êtes obsédé à l'idée.
okay, so if if you know some French speakers, and feel free to let them know. I'm sharing the title and the link. Here it is. Tradition africaine vivement critiquée par Bakem. So I'm going to start now. Stay safe, stay healthy. If I'm allowed to by the net channel, I will definitely holler back at you. I don't argue, I state facts. If you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem. If you do not think right, you will not act right. If you know better, you will do better. 282 Ho, tap.